Hello, my name's Mark Lightwood, or you might know me as old Jasky. I've been wanting to make this video for a while, but I've had a lot on my plate, and my plate's recently been cleared, so I've got an opportunity to do what I want to do, yeah. And what I want to do, it's pretty good compared to what a lot of people out there want to do, yeah. I want to tell you about how I met the love of my life, yeah. Some people were happy about it, but not many. Most people were pretty angry about it, or had something to say about it at least, yeah. Any objections at the wedding kind of thing? Well, a lot of people had objections with my relationship with my now wife. Yeah, so maybe there's some lessons to be learnt here for me and for you. I don't know, we'll just go through it. So I've made some notes here, just what happened. But the more I think about it, the more of a miracle it feels. Like, we'll go from the beginning. I had nothing. I had no self-worth, no self-belief. I was complete, like, if you could be in the pits of hell, I was in the pits of hell, you know. Some of you might call it depression, some of you might call it something else. But I were in it, and I wanted to get out of it. Needed to get out of it, you know. So what I'm saying to you, like, these tips, if you've got nothing, you can get somewhere. You know, hopefully, you might be able to follow this and get yourself out of that pit and end up with the girl of your dreams. maybe not, who knows, right? So anyway, I had nothing, but I managed to get the girl, yeah. So how did I do it? So I were in bed. I was spending most of my time in bed on my own, just awaiting death, basically. But for some reason I decided I needed to start talking to someone, just try and socialise, you know, trying anything. Okay, so I started playing a computer game called Fallout 76. It's based off a computer game called Fallout 4, which I had played before in the past, a long time ago, which I thoroughly enjoyed. I used to play it with my girlfriend at the time. You know, she thoroughly enjoyed it as well. It's quite a good community online. You know, people talking about it. It's quite just a nice place to be. You know, considering it's a dystopian nightmare full of zombies and super mutants and other things that want to eat you. Yeah, so it's a quite nice game. So I started playing Fallout 76. My idea was, it's kind of a bit like that computer game I played before, and it's online. There's an online element. I've never played an online game at this point. I was just nervous about it, but I thought it might be an opportunity just to start speaking to people, because this is what I had a problem with. I had just cut myself away from everything. So I started playing this game, and yeah, started playing it. Like, it's got two sides to it. It's got the normal game, and then it's got like it's called PvP, where you fight other players, you know, intentionally made for killing other people. But I was just playing the normal game, and I got friendly with some people. You know, I would do all the missions together and all the quests, and collect the guns and swap all the equipments and have some nice clothing and yada yada yada. But I quickly got bored of that. I needed more fulfillment, like Nuclear Winter were calling me. You know, I felt like I'd played the game, but I needed to move to the PvP aspect of it. Like I need more challenge. Yeah. So I started playing it. Now, during this time playing Fallout 76, there's a content creator. It's very popular with the game, and I saw a lot of their videos, getting a lot of tips. You know, enjoyed the content, enjoyed the creator. But one day, this video just pops up in my feed, and it's by this creator, and he's presenting it with a lady, his wife. But I'm seeing something in this girl. Like, I'm not talking about love at first sight or anything like that. I'm just talking subtle things. But I mean, she's playing with a knife. Yeah. Okay. She's also got quite an old worldly style and mannerism, just like a traditional kind of sexy. Yeah, she's quite voluptuous. You know, she's not this skinny, you know, bubble-lipped, you know, bullshit going. You know, very natural, but you know, extremely attractive as well. You know, and it's like, I notice her. You know, I'm a guy, but I'm not just noticing a pretty girl. I'm noticing, like, I feel like I know her. Like, I know an aspect of her. I'm not saying like I'm this creep. You know, don't go on to be that. But I feel a connection I wasn't expecting. You know, to see when I was watching this content. So anyway, I put it on back burner. I don't really think much of it. I think to this creator, you've done well there. You know, you looks like you've got life made up. You know, I'm really happy. but I started playing Nuclear Winter, and I noticed the lady that showed up in this video, she streams Nuclear Winter. So I sent her a friend request, an honest friend request. At this point, I'm trying to make friends. Like, I'm trying to get to speak people, I'm trying to build sort of relationships, but I'm not looking for like real life anything. You know, I'm not looking to meet up, I'm not looking to I'm just trying to speak. It's practicing opening my mouth, yeah. But I'd got quite good at this game. So we'd play this PvP game together. You know, I'd sent her an invite, and just out of blue, she invited me to a game. We played this game. Oh, we played a couple of games, and we went to town. We absolutely destroyed the server, like, and it felt good. So obviously we keep playing together. So what have we got to say here? What's an important point for the boys? You know, like, I had no self-worth. I had nothing. Yeah. But I trained myself to be good at something. I was good at this computer game. It's not much, but at the right place and the right time, that skill bought me a friendship. It gave me some respect with somebody. You know, being skilled. So if you've got nothing whatsoever, just try and hone one of your interests. You know, be talented. Try and be talented in some way or another. And impressive. You know, confident in some way or another. Like, I'm sure you're good at something. Yeah, it might not be the most amazing thing in the world, but I bet you're better at some things than most other people. You know. So just lay into that and remember that. You know, maybe if you want to find someone, you know, find somewhere where that your talents are going to be of worth to someone else. Yeah, I think sometimes you've got to start looking in the right place. You know, trying to find girls online just on random dating sites. I mean, maybe it is right place, but they never worked for me, and I really didn't give them that much time anyway. I never needed to. Right. So yeah, we're playing a few games, and we started to make other friends. I've had friends where I've invited to teams and stuff, and she's had friends, and there's a bit of a community going. I'm finding it's all on Discord. You know, a little bit, yeah. Starting to build a bit of community and building other friends. You know, not just this girl. Yeah. So just building friends. But one day in lobby, we were talking about the name Ojaski, where it come from, how it's difficult to say and stuff. And this isn't video for it, but you know, we were just talking about it. And Mitzee said, "Right, what do we call you?" So we call me Daddy if you like, and it stuck. So, but you know, obviously it's quite a desirable thing to be called. You know, I found, yeah, but it's stuck. So what have we learned here? I were open. I were just honest. You know, when someone asked, it was fun. You know, I was happy to be knocked back, closed down. You know, like, you can flirty and stuff like that. But if you get knocked back, don't see it as an attack. Just see it as I don't know. It's just a funny moment. Yeah, like, sometimes rejection's funny. You know, you laugh at other people getting rejected. Well, laugh at yourself. You know, and it earns you points. You know, like, don't take yourself too seriously. Everyone's allowed to make mistakes. It's how you deal with them afterwards. You know, that shows your character. You know, having mistakes and making mistakes is a good opportunity to prove your worth and show your soul a little bit. You know, so don't shy away from mistakes. Don't be too embarrassed or nervous. Yeah, I think that's good advice, isn't it? Right, yeah. So Nuclear Winter, the game, this PvP mode, whatever, it shuts down. It's called Sunset. The game's just no longer available anymore. But me and Mitzee have been making a friendship. We've been streaming a lot. Like, she'd been streaming a lot. Nuclear Winter content, and I'd appeared in those streams, and I'd done some screen recordings. You know, so I'm probably going to post some content what I captured out of Nuclear Winter, because there were some funny bits, there's some good bits. So I might make some videos off back of this. Yeah. But we continued talking. Like, we built up rapport. Like, so I think now's an interesting time to say, is like, so Nuclear Winter's gone, the computer game's gone out of the equation by this point. We'd only been paying for about 6 months. Yeah, picked up Fallout 76, been playing for 6 months, and then just Nuclear Winter got closed down, and we left. But I saw a lot of people. Like, I met a lot of anonymous people. Like, when you're dealing with anonymous people, it's different to dealing with people in real life, in person, because they speak. You know, that they'll talk and they'll tell you a lot of stuff, personal stuff. You know, you get to know someone a lot better, I think. obviously, me and Mitzi were in this relationship. Obviously, we were a little bit more parasocial because she had a presence, an online presence, where I didn't. So I saw more of her than she saw of me. She hadn't seen any pictures of me at this point. But this and this had somehow won her over, and we were talking a lot. But I saw so much like simping. Yeah, I seen some of the bad ways men try and approach women and stuff like that. Mitzi was extremely desirable. I found there was getting a lot. She was getting a lot of messages. She was getting a lot of attention off different men and stuff like that. And I saw it. And I wasn't there for any of this. I were here just to try and make friends. I thought she was nice, but like I had no intent towards her because she was married. But that didn't seem to bother anyone else, which I always thought a bit strange, to be honest. It's disrespectful. You know what I mean? So if you're making these big moves towards someone that's married, like, that's going to be really off-putting to anyone. Why would you want to be in a relationship with someone that's going to, potentially, start talking around and doing other things around you? You know what I mean? Like, don't show your flaws when you're trying to present yourself as a potential mate. Don't show that you're a complete and utter piece of trash. You're willing to throw other people under the bus. Imagine if it were you. You were in this position where everyone's just throwing themselves at you. Like, who are you going to respect out of that lot? Like, none of them are you. You're gonna respect anyone that's different. Approaches you just like a human being, because that's all what women want. I found just someone completely open with them. Just tells them how it is, how they feel, and yeah, not be overly demanding. Don't expect anything. If you get something, you get something. If you don't get anything, it doesn't matter. It's all gravy, baby. Yeah. So top and bottom of it, don't be a simp and don't be a creep. Yeah, it'll help. Yeah. So nuclear weight and fish. We're still talking. I had sent her some pictures at this point, but casual. I haven't tried too hard to get dressed or anything like that. I had quite a bit of a bigger beard at the time. But smart, smiley, happy photo, not too much effort. Like, don't be getting all really smart and regimented for your photos or getting all your muscles out, because it's just sending the wrong message. Sometimes, you want to build that attraction in someone. If you're trying to get a one night stand, you might want to flex your muscles, because that's all the bothering is your muscles, isn't it? But when you're trying to build a relationship, you need a kind soul. You need someone you're going to be able to connect with, someone you want to spend time with. Yeah, so show that in your pictures. You don't have to be soft, you don't have to be quiet and meek, but you don't have to be a big strong bear lion all the time either. So yeah, sending first pictures and your profile pictures online again. Just keep them simple. Just keep them. Try and get a good look with your eyes. It's a lot of character you can see through the eyes. So concentrate on just getting a good emotion or glance, or they're your best shots, I reckon. Yeah, so I don't look that great. Obviously, I'm bald. I've got other concerns. To some people, but it worked. It was all right. Like, she'd already fallen in love with me at this point. Like getting there. She'd already gained affection just through my voice and us dealings together. So when she'd seen some pictures of me, it's like, well, I can live with that. It's all right. So this idea of having 10s and 5s and 2s and 1s and 0s and all this in between, like, I would class Mitzee, 10, 9, 10. I class her as a 10, but, I class myself, I don't know, 4. Like, I'm really not much, but it doesn't matter. You don't need much, yeah? If you concentrate on what's important, don't be defined by your looks, yeah? The more confident you are, the better you're going to look generally. That's what I've been told, and that's what I believe. So, love makes things look beautiful, yeah? Like, your mother's always going to look beautiful, isn't she? Because she's brought you up.
At the beginning, my life was really lonely. I had friends, but only through a screen. And even though I was really grateful for them, that I managed to make some friends online, it wasn't the same as having real support around me. Deep inside, I knew I needed a change, and I knew I couldn't keep going the way I was. But the fear of speaking up and standing for myself always held me back. So when Mark came into my life, he wasn't just someone who showed up. He became my rock. He was my best friend at that point. He was the only person I could talk to about anything. Reminded me of my worth when I couldn't see it, and little by little he made me believe that I was capable of more than I ever thought. And I needed this strength beside me. And then I found the courage I never thought I had. He didn't just support me as a friend, but he gave me the confidence to take the step I was really, really afraid to make. The cut that once felt impossible. I knew I needed a change in my life. I was just too scared. I'm stronger, I'm braver, and I was ready to choose myself.
Alton Towers. She wanted to go to Alton Towers and meet up as a friend, and I want to meet up as a friend, and we did. Okay. What could we learn there? So we were fun. We were playful. You know, but it was clean. You know, it was clean. What did she see of me there? Maybe, you know, like our handling others well, being polite and nice to other people, letting kids get in line first, and all this sort of stuff. You know, it's good. You know, women want to see this, I think, right? I made some mistakes. I was happy to, you know, laugh at myself and do just, you know, not being a clown, obviously, you know, but if a mistake occurred, just how do you handle yourself when you make a mistake? You can do it respectfully, you know. People pick up on that. Like if you trip over and get mad, or if you trip over, you start trying to blame someone else for it, and you know, like it just makes you a bore. Yeah, but don't be afraid to make mistakes. Cause again, it can show you a bit of character, a bit of soul. It's chance for a laugh. It's an icebreaker. Or, do you know what I mean? Like, be relaxed is what I'm saying. And if you do a mistake, learn how to roll with them. Yeah. Make confident compliments. Yeah, this is one thing I've noticed as well. If you're going to compliment someone, just come out and say it, and then if you don't get anything back, just move on with the conversation. Next, you know, it's like it never occurred. Like some people could be, you could be a flyer. You know, just said it. Like, forget that. You know, if you've got a compliment, you should be easy to say. You know, if you can't say it, then just don't. Yeah. Yeah, and I put her on a train back home. No, we met up at Alton Towers, just me and her, married lady, put her back on the train, she went home. Okay. So, yeah, we're still talking, yada yada, but things are getting a little bit more serious now, you know. I'm hearing more than I want to know, really. I'll just leave it there. But we met up for some more nights out, again with this same, just easy, you know, like, I'm quite forward and flirty and stuff like that, you know, but I never put any pressure on or anything like that. And it's only when it would be funny. Do you know what I mean? Like saying a sexy, you know, with a hint of sexiness in it, you know, when it's like appropriate. I don't know if I'm ever going to be able to teach lads that, you know, you're good with your tongue or you're bad with your tongue. Right. Yeah, so just let her lead the way, you know, like she can decide where we. You know, when she's ready, you know, if she wants to go somewhere, she'll tell you she'll want to go somewhere, then it's up to you to sort it, yeah. But don't be constantly saying, oh, she'll meet up here, she'll go for that, do for this, you know. If you're not getting an answer back, just cool it off, yeah. People could be very, very, like, pushy, and it don't look good, yeah. But, yeah, so we're meeting up, but it was getting harder and harder to put her on this train, you know. Just, yeah, I'll leave that there. So things had to happen, you know. We couldn't carry on like this, you know. I couldn't carry on like this, Mitzee couldn't carry on like this, and it were unfair for other people to be carrying on like this. So she made the hard choice, yeah. But it needed to happen for her. I think it was. She tells me it was a good thing for her. It's you know, it's what needed to happen. So it happened. But it showed her that if she jumps, if she makes an hard decision, she needs someone to catch her. Like I had her back, you know. This was scary for her. Got no family over here, you know. Breaking it off with your husband, kid. It's a hard choice, isn't it? You know, and I managed to prove it to her that, you know, if she jumps and she comes with me, I'll have her back. You know, we'll land on his feet. I felt guilty for just any hurt caused. Like, I didn't feel like I was the instigator here. You know, it's just I just got caught up in circumstance, really, but I did feel guilty for, any hurt caused there, there was some tension in just around the community, various communities and stuff like that, I didn't want to really necessarily be involved with that, I didn't have any choice with it, really. I suppose all I've got to say is sometimes life hurts, lessons have to be learnt, pain teaches you, you learn from your pain. So, just moving on. I did nothing to regret, but I have nothing to regret. Honourable. Again, what do you want to show a future partner? Honour. We were honourable to each other and to the situation. So, yeah, when things went down, I moved in. With knowing there was Ula now, and a stepdaughter. Yeah. And things are good, yeah. Like, I were concerned, like, I don't have no kids. I've had experiences around children and stuff like that, There ain't many kids in my family. Like, at church and stuff like that, I used to sing all the way through choir, so when I were older, there were, like, younger kids coming in and stuff like that. I don't know, I've always been alright, like with people's kids, you want to carry the baby or you want to stop them crying and stuff like that. I've always, been alright with that sort of stuff. So anyway, I did have an ex with a kid. I was with her for a year, like a baby. So I've had that experience living with a baby, and that was fine, got through it. A little bit tougher than my stepdaughter. My stepdaughter a little bit older. But I don't want to say too much about it, but just bringing up kids is an excellent experience, highly recommended. So if you meet a girl with a kid, don't see it as a losing points or a problem. If you don't have any kids in your life and you get the opportunity to help influence and raise a child, it's a really fulfilling experience. It's if a girl's got she's not a single parent, like her dad's, fantastic, and playing a big role in her life. It's like she's gained a parent. She hasn't lost any parents. Parents might split up, but she's still got a biological parents, and then she's got me on side, and I don't know. Like, we have a different relationship to a daughter father. Like, I'm like, I don't know, I see myself as a bit of a mentor, but like, I'll always take a side if she needs someone to take a side. I'll always support her. Yeah. Anyway, that's enough. Moving on. So we all moved up here. After a few months, we all moved up here. Where they were living before were quite small. And we have much more space up here. Much more room for less cost. I'm paying a mortgage here. They were renting down in Coventry. It's expensive too, and life's cheaper up here. So this is where we're at, and it's been good. We've had some ups and downs, but we got married. We've been married now. Yeah, almost a year. 12th of October, it'll be a year. Yeah, I can't believe it. But yeah, okay. Advice out there: if you find a keeper, keep her. Yeah. Put a ring on her finger, show her what you mean, like, and don't be doing it straight away, because it don't mean anything then. You've got to have a meaningful relationship before you ask her the question. But if you found her and you're happy with her, make it known, do it, yeah. Do the honourable thing, yeah. Being married, it's like it being in a secure partnership. It's like you can trust each other, you can rely on each other. It feels like me and Ula are like a company of two, where we were just individuals before. Like, we're filling each other's blanks. We've got each other's backs. We're like, together we're like 1.5 people. Yeah, we function okay on his own, but together we do really well. Yeah, something to look out for. Someone that complements your skill set. In a partner. Like, they don't have to be exactly what you do. They're just, their skills need to complement your skills. So when you come together, it makes life easier for both of you. Yeah, you come together. All right. Yeah. So I had a bit of a rough 12 months. I needed to get a lot of stuff aired. Yeah, and a lot of women would have left me saying this stuff, but she knew what I had to say. She trusted me, and she allowed me to say it. Yeah. She knew I needed to get it out. Got it out, and she stood by me. Like, there's not a lot of women out there that would have done that, you know. So, like, she's not only is she my wife, like, I want to be married to her in the afterlife, you know. I just don't want it ever out of my life. Even if I die, I still want to be with her, you know. Like, she's my angel. Now, I used to have these dreams a long time ago when I was sad. And I can just remember, I think it were only one or two. And an angel would just come down. I would just be sad somewhere, leaning over maybe outside in this dream. And like, I'd look up at be a bright, sunny light, soft light, and an angel would be flying down. And she was blonde with shortish hair, curly, wavy, soft brown eyes, and obviously wings and stuff like that. And she were naked, but it wasn't one of them. And she just gave me this hug, but it was with her arms and with her wings at the same time, and it was just like this fantastic hug. And I can remember waking up and feeling great, you know. And it was like a long time ago, but she looked just like my wife. She looks just like Ula, you know. When I was saying that I saw this something in Ula when I first saw her. Like, this is what I saw. You know, this is what I saw. Like, you know, she reminded me of this angel. And, you know, just the icing on the cake, this is, you know, it's just what makes it perfect is tomorrow she's getting some wings put on her back. She's actually gaining her wings, yeah. She's becoming an angel. She always was my angel. You know, she saved me from the pits of hell. She dragged me up. She stood by with me, and now I'm strong. You know, she cured me, she healed me. You know, like an angel, she fixed me. She makes me complete. She's still here. And she's getting some wings tomorrow. Life's beautiful sometimes, isn't it?